There we go.
Can you hear us now?
You should be able to hear us. Welcome to our Thursday night live stream.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And
Yours isn't on.
And we are two crazy ketos.
Why isn't it on?
Hi, and welcome to our Thursday night live. I'm just going to talk right directly into Joe's chest the rest of the night.
What we're going to do is we're going to change microphone.
Okay. Oh, good. I'm glad we decided to work on this now.
They didn't turn on for some reason. So welcome to our Thursday live stream. There we go. That should be on now.
Oh, now it's decided to work.
Yes.
New microphones.
There we go.
How much are these little tiny nonsense things?
These are the new DJI Mic 3s. They're tiny. Here's the other one. Give you an idea. So for those of you who are looking for a microphone, this is the DJI Mic 2, and this is the DJI Mic 3.
Right.
Big difference. Plus, it's got some cool extra features.
How much are they?
If you buy the full kit, it's like 300, somewhere around 300. Comes with a transmitter. You can hook up 4 microphones to it. And if you have a Sony camera, it's got a little hot shoe, so it goes right into the hot shoe. You don't have to use cables.
A hot shoe?
You can, it records, so you have backup recordings that are on here. We're not talking about microphones tonight.
I have worn a hot shoe before. I left them outside and it got really hot, and then you put them on and burn your feet.
Well, I've also learned don't ever leave Crocs outside.
Yes, that is a PSA. If you are somebody like us and you enjoy wearing Crocs at this stage in our life, if you leave them outside, they actually shrink.
In the heat, yeah.
Yeah.
In the heat or the sun, they shrink.
So now Joe set out a pair, and he really loved this pair. It was a Star Wars pair. Left them outside, and now they're my shoes.
Yeah, they don't fit me anymore. Okay, so if you're new here,
welcome.
We're gonna, yes, welcome. I don't know why I'm spacing right now, but here's what I want you to do. If you have a question about keto or carnivore, type question and then whatever your question is, or use the super chat function. That's a little $ down below, and that will alert us. It'll highlight our screen, and we won't miss your question.
We don't want to miss it. Let us know. Let us know in the chat, how long have you been doing keto or some form of low carb eating, fat fueled eating? Let us know. I'd love to know how long everybody's been doing this thing.
JJ said he had a pair of Crocs that he sat next to a space heater once and they shrunk.
We tried to boil them.
You can. I mean, I made them better. You can boil them in but I didn't have a pot that I could fit them completely in, but you can boil them in hot water for 5 minutes.
We looked foolish.
And then what you have to do is you have to put on 2 pairs of socks and put them on your feet.
While they're boiled?
And wear them for about 5 to 10 minutes, and that will stretch them back out.
The things we do for love.
Well, they're $60.
Yeah. The things we do for money.
For those of you who are going on the 2KK December cruise, or if you have any cruises booked on Royal Caribbean, including the low carb cruise next year, Black Friday sale starts tonight at midnight, I think, or tomorrow morning. So go look for deals. If you've already purchased excursions, drink packages, Wi-Fi,
check the price.
Don't cancel it until you check the price, because and what you can do is you can go up into the top corner and there's a thing. It's look at my purchases or whatever. See how much you paid. There's actually a little thing. It'll break down exactly how much you paid, because here's the thing. Royal Caribbean uses dynamic pricing. And so sometimes they raise the price and then do 50% off. You may have gotten 30% off of the price then, and now 50% off of the current price is still more expensive.
That's a Kohl's strategy.
So just check and see how much you paid. If you bought a drink package or a dining package, remember there's gratuity included. That when the price shows up, that doesn't include gratuity. So kind of go in, figure it all out, and then see how much you paid. If it's cheaper, you cancel it on whatever you bought and then rebuy it. It'll take 2 or 3 days to get your money back. But for example, I've got the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi, I think we paid 25% off. Now I'm hoping it's 30 or 40%. Sometimes on Black Friday, it's the more devices you get, the cheaper it is. If you're traveling with a spouse and you're getting the Wi-Fi package, here's a little tip. Don't buy one person, one device. Buy one person, 2 device. It's cheaper.
Right.
And then you each have the same login, but you each have your own device.
So I have a question. Let's say that I bought not the Wi-Fi, but an excursion of some sort. And I see now that it is cheaper. Should I buy a second excursion first and then delete it? You can't do it. Well, what happens if I have an excursion that I've scheduled for, and then in the moment that I am trying to get it at a cheaper spot, somebody comes in and swoops in, and now I can't get the excursion?
It's possible. It's always possible.
I mean,
I haven't had it happen, but
like we lost our room that time.
That's different. And we have that room on Legend of the Seas, and I'm going to cancel it. I'll tell you why in a minute. But that was different. That was something completely different.
Okay.
But for something like that, I would weigh how much does it cost. Like if you're only saving $5, to me, it's not worth the aggravation of waiting for the money to come back on your credit card. We did last year, for example, unlimited dining package on the low carb cruise. We'd gotten 30% off, and now it was 50% off. That's a huge difference. Yeah. We saved like $290. That is absolutely worth it. So you're talking about the rear cabin. Turns out every review I've seen of that rear cabin, because the Star of the Seas, the Legend of the Seas, the Icon of the Seas are like they're really fast ships. Like I think the Star of the Seas is capable of like 27 knots, which is very fast for a cruise ship.
Okay.
They say that the rear cabins, like anything in the last 3 to 4 cabins in the ship, there's a lot of vibration from the engines, that the propellers are so powerful it vibrates up.
Oh, so you might not want.
And so you have a gorgeous view, but people are like the TV shakes.
No.
And like you feel the vibration while you're sleeping.
Feel the vibration.
So I think we're gonna move our cabin.
Like Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Okay, let's look. And Ria's here, said, hello to KK family. I'm loving the November challenge. Definitely making me more aware of things. Working on movement most right now.
Proud of you.
Lori's been keto since 2019. Terry D, 7.5 years. Mel said, I've done keto low carb off and on for 22 years, but the longest is 3.5 years.
Awesome.
Andy since 2018, intermittent fasting since 2017, Ketovore since 2024. Matt's here, said, hey, this is the big weekend. Our daughter flies in tomorrow for a week, and we have the Central Florida Keto meetup on Saturday, which is why we're up here in Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay.
So excited for that. You know, in all of those years that we were just talking about this before we came on, because tomorrow my Substack post is about the subject. Why did we ever think that when it came to health, when we started finding something that was going to work, it was going to be one and done with no notes and no pivots at all and no changes? We're living with every single year. Things are changing slightly. And so of course your keto is going to evolve. Sometimes it may have more restrictions, sometimes it may have less restrictions. What grieves me is when someone gets to the point where they're like, I thought this was it. I thought that I was going to say, hey, I'm going to eat, this much protein, this many carbs, set it and forget it. But that's just not life. We're going to be, the keto that you're doing right now will be different in 5 years. I guarantee it, to some degree. So be ready for it, and don't be surprised or crazy about it. You don't have to feel bad about it. Like we don't want to get ourselves into that thing where we're like, well, I said this is what I'm going to do, and like I don't care if changing in any way would help me. I said this is what I'm doing and this is it.
Not to start again, but this is why I don't like it when people label themselves, I'm a carnivore. Because why can't you just say I eat meat? And the reason is it's just like a mindset thing. The second you eat something other than from an animal, like
feel shocked.
You feel like you've cheated on yourselves, or like I'm not that good of a carnivore. Instead of just like, I hate labels. I hate labels. Just say you eat the proper human diet. Just say you eat mostly meat, and that's when people ask us, what do you eat? I say we eat primarily meat. About 95% of our diet is meat.
Well, and over the years, like how much we use convenience products changed. I can go for long stints of time and I'm like, I want 99.5% meat. And then sometimes I want a big old honkin' salad. Like you go through seasons. I think that if you are trying to intuitively eat, you have to be dialed into what your body is saying it wants. So if you think to yourself, no, 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 body, 42.3 carbs is the perfect thing, or 12 carbs is the perfect thing, or I've worked myself down to -4 carbs and that's the perfect thing. I think that you're doing yourself a disservice, and it requires marketing for us to even get in that mindset, right? It's only a company trying to sell you a product that says, this is it. Try my XYZ and you will never need another thing again.
Yeah. VSJ said she's going to put her son's Crocs out tomorrow. I assume because you don't like them.
Oh.
Carolyn said 7 years keto. Sarah G is 9 years. Visual keto since 2019.
I'm so proud of you guys.
Mary since 2017. Nancy Tanner 6 years. John Weiss 3 years 8 months. Ketovore.
So proud of you.
So VSJ said 1.5 years. Carnivore keto. So yeah, lots of people have been doing it for a while.
I love
Chris
it.
said I am a meat popsicle.
A meat popsicle. So
Yes.
you eat only frozen meat? Is that what it is? Trish said, Florida peeps, Bob and I will be visiting Disney Springs on Sunday, November 30th around noon, and would love to meet anyone or everyone there.
Put that on our
for
calendar.
lunch.
I don't know
How
what we're doing around that
exciting.
time, but if we're available.
I love that. That is so exciting.
What she needs to be doing is, well, she's actually going on. I want to say she needs to go on the 2KK cruise, but she's going on a better cruise.
A better cruise.
She's going on a really amazing cruise. I mean, it's not as good as the 2KK cruise
just because of the
community, but
she's going to a cool cruise.
They're going on a cool cruise. Anybody want to go? I can get you a great deal, but it's like next week. Freedom of the Seas, $14.
Wait, what?
Freedom of the Seas, $14.
$14?
Yeah.
Well, screw Hack Your Health. We're going on a $14
So they're doing some like...
What is that, Margaritaville?
No. So what they're doing is they're doing some humanitarian cruises to Jamaica to bring supplies over.
Oh, wow.
And basically you can cruise for $14 just to be on the ship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like you're not getting off. There's no port stop or anything like that.
They're just bringing stuff.
That's kind of cool though.
That's very cool. I'm so glad that they're doing that, because oh my goodness, they're completely devastated. I was like, I was watching some things today for some like outreaches that we participate in, and they're just trying to get, things there, but they were just absolutely devastated by that hurricane.
Bob said, proper human diet for 7 years.
7 years.
Trish said, pro cruise trip, if you have an Android phone, buy one Wi-Fi device for one person and the other person create a hotspot for all others in their group. Another little tip, I don't know about other cruise lines, but Royal Caribbean has changed their policy on adapters. It can only have one plug on it now.
Okay.
So if you get a European adapter, you can't bring a European adapter that has that adds 3 outlets. You can only add one American outlet. Now, I will tell you, some people get the other ones on. Like we got ours on Star Seas. We didn't use it because Star Seas had so many outlets, but they do confiscate them if they see it. So just be aware.
Like if your cabin steward is your new room.
No, like when you go through security or if it's in your bag, you don't want to go to the naughty room to pick up your bag. So I would just not, if you have one of the European adapters that has multiple plugs on it, I would get a different one. Now that doesn't apply to USB ones. Like if you can get a USB a hub where you plug it in, it gives you 8 out. It's only for actual household outlets.
If anybody that knows me knows that I'm blinking wildly right now because I need to process through my brain without it coming out of my mouth. Just like everything that just crossed my mind about the naughty room.
And also, don't ever plug your hairdryer into one of those European adapters.
No, that won't send you to the naughty room. That will just fry out your hair stuff.
Lynn said, I wish I could get the Mighty Networks to work on my phone again. Just use the browser. Just open up Safari, Chrome, whatever browser you use on your phone. Go members.2crazyketos.com. That's what I do. I hate the app.
Says the guy that has it.
I don't use it. I don't use the app on my phone. I don't use the app at all on my phone. And I don't use the Facebook app because the Facebook app listens to you.
Do you think...
Like literally, I had my phone sitting down. I edited the video for our camping channel for the rally we went to last week. And Rachel walks in and says, Don't forget to add Camp Landa to the description if anybody wants to go there. We're not affiliated with them, but we thought it was a great RV park. Now, every time I open up Facebook,
guess what?
I've got ads for Camp Landa.
Do you think you're better than me?
I don't like Facebook listening to me. Marianne said, I'm trying to decide whether or not to go to Hack Your Health. Anybody going? We will be there.
We're going. It's not cheap.
Listen.
I think it's going to be a lot more devices this year and a lot less tastings.
I know that if it's going to be based on the last couple of years, there's not going to be a lot of food there. Keto Chow is going to be there. Salty is going to be. We're going to spend a lot of our time at the Keto Chow booth.
Yes.
But it just depends. I mean, if you're just going to hear the speakers, you can hear pretty much all the speakers online.
Sure.
You know, I mean, it's kind of it's kind of shifting its focus more towards hacking your health as opposed to just a keto carnivore lifestyle. So things like red light therapy, different. I'm not saying they're bad, but I am going to say this. Here's my advice. If you're going to hack your health, don't fall into the trap of you need red light therapy and built-in saunas and
weighted vests
and all that. There is a benefit to them, but it's tiny. The you know, it really comes down to focus on your eating, your sleep, your stress management, work, you know, doing movement. That is, you've gotten everything else pretty much perfect.
Dialed in.
And then that'll maybe do a little bit, but the return on investment is pretty small. You know, like grounding. Like, yeah, you can buy grounding mats. You can also build one, or you can just go outside barefoot and stand in the grass.
Right. And we're not disparaging anything, but like, I think it's important for us to share that if you are like, I am not consistently eating the right thing, remember that's 80% of your success. Now, we do know that like 20% is the other stuff. Yes. But like, I don't want you to spend a ton of money majoring in the 20%. We need to get the 80% right.
Don't major in the minors.
Right.
Okay. And it's like you can buy grounding mats and saunas and red light therapy and hyperbaric chambers, but if your eating isn't consistently good, the rest of that crap isn't going to help you at all.
Right.
It's just not going to help you. FMP Feelgood said, I took my first cruise for my 40th birthday last month, Allure of the Seas, great ship. 8-day Mediterranean cruise, fun, but not going to replace all-inclusives for me.
Yeah.
The reason I'm not really super interested in like an all-inclusive cruise. Like some of the all-inclusive resorts,
like Viking?
Like I can see, or Virgin Voyages, but she's talking about all-inclusive vacations. Like, you know, you have like the Sandals vacation kind of thing where everything is included. But for me, like, I'm not a big drinker. I don't want to pay for that. Everyone's like, oh, you can go on Virgin Voyages and everything is, but I'm not going to utilize 90% of the stuff that's free.
I think honestly for a cruise,
and I got to pay. You're paying for it. It's just all wrapped in one price.
Well, but that is the most, like, that is all. I can't think of anything else inclusive.
Right.
That I would want, right? Like I got all the food and everything. I mean, I guess there's ones where if you're paying it, you're getting like all of the specialty dining or something. But yeah, I don't drink a lot.
But the cost is a lot more.
Yeah.
John said $14 cruise to nowhere. I do that. Is it out of Florida, Texas? It's out of Florida. Trish said, I'll just be coming off of a 23-day vacation cruise.
Ooh.
Barbara said, I'm a secondhand vegetarian. Cows eat grass. I eat cows.
I think that's very efficient. Like you're having them do the dirty work, right? Like I'm out there, I mow the grass, I pull the weeds. It's dirty work. It's dirty work, and you're letting your food do the dirty work.
Okay, so Chris said, point of order. Technically, Keto Chow will not be there. We are only bringing salty stuff to hack your health.
There you go.
Good to know. I did not know that.
Thank you.
Hence why we've got salty shirts.
Salty.
Let's see. I just saw something that I wanted to comment on. Let's see. Best Side L's been keto since 2017.
I love it.
Andy doesn't use the Facebook app either.
You're twins. I am getting certain that you and Andy are twins separated at birth.
What were you just talking about? Because it brought up something I really wanted to mention.
How things change?
I don't know.
How I like all-inclusive things?
I don't know now. Let's see. So yeah, Chris said Keto Chow's going to be there. They're only bringing salty.
Go touch the grass, Joe. Yes, that is a Joe. That's a Joe statement. How many of you guys liked the thing where I found where it's like every time Joe sees heavy whipping cream that has 0 carbs? Actually, somebody said that we need to petition to, and I did make it part of like a highlight reel that doesn't go away because, you know, the Instagram stories go away in like 24 hours. And they're like,
That's
no,
why I hate them.
We need to keep them that forever because they're like, as long as I've been doing keto, like Joe has been getting that in the back of my head since I started.
You know, and it's just something that, you know, it's just a hidden carb that a lot of people are not aware of. And that's, you know, people are like, I don't understand. It's because of just the way the labeling is. And it's not even the companies trying to lie to you. Like some companies do try to lie to you with a nutrition label.
No way.
Like I'm looking at you, Porking Good. I love Porking Good, but don't tell me that little tiny bag is 3 servings, or, you know, it's just not, right? Or do you remember something that used to come in keto crates a lot? Bazoots peanuts.
I love Bazoots.
It was like 1.17 servings.
Like how would I even eat a 17th of a serving?
Why are they saying that the bag is 1.17 servings? Because then they say 1 serving, but this bag contains 1.17 servings, because it's all about keeping the total calories under, say, 100.
Sometimes it's
It's about keeping the fat down. It's about keeping the carbs down, because people don't look at serving size when they pick up a nutrition label. People look at what does it say. So they look up and it's like the biggest thing people look at when they look at a nutrition label is how many calories.
Right.
Then you'll get into how much fat, how much protein, how many carbohydrates. But nobody really ever pays attention to how many servings. You just pick it up and go, oh, it's 100. That's how Oreos, remember when all the companies came out with like 100-calorie packs? They didn't change anything. All they did was put 100 calories worth of Oreos into the package.
What's always interesting to me is just like you're saying that, you know, companies know exactly what you're looking at when you get that, you know, nutrition label. It's like everybody picks up a bag and they're comparing it, right? Because you may even been like me in the past and you hold up 2 things that are 100-calorie things and you're feeling the bag to be like, what am I getting for my 100 calories? And what we really need to be doing is pick up things and be like, what is the comparison of nutrient density?
Right.
What am I getting at mealtime? Each thing that I have in my hand, it doesn't have to be a calorie thing. It's a meal. So I'm picking this up and this will be my meal. If I pick up the steak is my meal, right? If I pick up a pack of hot dogs, a hot dog is going to be part of my meal, right? So when I'm doing like an apples to apples comparison, if I'm comparing something, I need to be comparing it not on calories, because calories without taking into account the nutrient density, what am I getting for those 100 calories? That's when you can really miss it. It's like when we talk about keto brick, and someone says like, oh my gosh, there's like 12 total carbs in that. And it's just a brick. And it's like, but that's 1,000 calories.
Right.
So it's like, it's dense. Like, yes, that's 1,000 12 total carbs, you know, or whatever. And but like, what am I getting for that? Because taken out of context, you're really not doing yourself a favor.
So here's what I was thinking about. Did y'all see the thing about McDonald's? Like, I'm actually excited about this.
Me
Again,
too.
I don't agree with everything that RFK does.
Why do we even wait? How?
No, don't.
No. Why have we gotten ourselves into a situation where we feel like we have to preface every single thing with, I don't agree with every single thing this person says. How could you? I love you. I married you. I don't agree with everything you say.
Yeah.
I love our children. I don't agree with everything they say. Of course, that like goes without saying and should go without saying.
So, again, I don't agree with everything, but I do think that RFK is doing an amazing job in his role, and he is really making an impact with these companies. And that McDonald's has now announced a huge investment into regenerative cattle.
Which I'm excited because when we were looking this week, we were just talking to our neighbor Even about...
That's what I wanted to bring up.
Okay, go ahead.
That yesterday our turkeys got out.
Big surprise.
Or half of them.
They
And they only go to one place. They go to their neighbor behind us, and like you hear them and you go over and he's like, oh, they're well, he has a lot of head of cattle on his property.
They find them interesting.
And so I had asked him, do you all ever sell calves? Because I would like to buy a calf, but I'm trying to find somebody I trust. I don't really want to buy one from the one auction place we go to, because I don't trust, a lot of times people, not us, okay, we're getting rid of like really good animals. You can look at them. Sarah G can tell you, right? But a lot of times people get rid of like their unwanted sick animals at an auction.
So you have to be kind of savvy.
And at the auction that we go to, like I know people who are like, yeah, this rooster was just horrible and that's why I'm getting rid of it. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I don't want that. I don't want someone's problem animal.
Right.
And so I'm like, I want to find somebody that I trust to get a calf from. And he was like, yeah, like, he was like, the price of calves right now is through the roof. And this explains beef things. Now, understand, it takes 2 years. So all of us eat beef for the most part. It takes 2 years to take your calf from being a newborn to processing. 2 years.
It's a lot of feed.
You gotta feed them, even when they're doing grass.
Like care.
You're even if they're grass fed, grass finished, you're usually going to have to, especially if you have them on like our little farm, you're gonna have to be giving them supplemental hay, okay? Because like they need to eat constantly.
Right.
2 years. He said he took his calves to auction last week. We have a cattle auction. So this is not the auction we go to, the small animal. This is where all of the big beef growers go to the stockyard and they sell off their cattle for raising and for meat and stuff like that. He's like, they're fetching, ready for this? $9 to $11 per pound. On average, he got $1,200 for each calf.
A calf.
For a calf. So by the time you take that calf to processing weight, you've got close to $3,500 to $4,000 into that calf.
That's what the farmer has into it. What about if you want to buy the beef?
Beef prices will be through the roof if that continues. He was like, now, if you want an adult cow, he was like, those heifers over there, you can get that heifer right there, which is like pretty much ready to be processed, or get it to calf your own, which is where we may end up going, is find a heifer and then rent out, maybe have him bring his bull over and do its business for us. You can buy a full-blown heifer for $1,200 right now. And it's ready to process.
And it may be where we wind up going. I
may get a heifer and then have it get pregnant.
Yeah, but just think about that. That's a lot. So the thought that you would turn to regenerative farming and you would lean on fast food chain that you know is going to have a big demand for beef and say, hey, we're going to bring that money back and have regenerative farming practices. That's huge. Like the thought of McDonald's making regenerative farm hamburgers is crazy awesome.
FMP Philgood said we upgrade our package to a beachfront room and it still comes out cheaper for 8 days than our cruise.
Wow.
Yeah, it really comes down to how much do you pay for your cruise and all. It really comes down to a lot of things. And sometimes all-inclusives could be really, really good. Dustin said it might be too early, but Indiana might be getting a Buc-ee's just with
how exciting.
Indianapolis 165. I don't know if that's
Matt knows the exact amount of carbs per serving.
0.413 carbs per serving. Juliana, all-inclusive is my jam. One of these days, I'm going to convince my kids to get on a cruise ship.
Aww.
Patty Ebb says, $14 cruise. I'm late to the party, I guess. JJ said, school has been so stressful lately. I feel like the only way I'm going to be able to get a decent sleep is to find me one of those necklaces Hermione wears.
Right? A time turner? I think that's probably smart. It's a wise investment if you can find one.
Aaron said, I wish our nutrition labels were more like Europe where they have to list nutrition per 100 grams. Yeah, in Europe, it's per 100 grams or for the whole package. That's how they do it. I wish that they would pass those laws here. John said, look at this bag of potato chips, only 1 carb per serving. Oh, the serving size is 3 chips because nobody looks at that. Defense Paul said, yeah, McDonald's going back to beef tallow, maybe.
A bit neat.
They're talking about it. You know, it hasn't been that long since they switched to canola oil. They gave into pressure, and hopefully that they'll go back. Dustin said, is McDonald's doing this because they're looking at ways to bring prices down and keep profits up?
No, I don't.
They're saying they want to invest in local farms. They want to sell regenerative raised beef because in the end, regenerative farming, you can raise more cattle on less land.
Yes.
To regenerative farm than you can even on a feedlot because of the way it works. And so that is the wave of the future. It's just that nobody wants to do it. But you can raise 10 times more chickens. You can raise more cattle.
It's so smart.
It's because the way, if you don't know the way regenerative farming works, is here's what you do. You start off with your cattle. You put your cattle on a piece of land. The cattle does their stuff. They eat their, and you can do this with sheep and that kind of stuff too. But you bring cattle on a piece of land. They eat their grass. They poop a lot. Then you move them to another small point. Like you basically move everybody every week. So you move them over to another paddock. And then the paddock that your cattle was on, you bring in chickens. Now the chickens are going to scratch through all the poop. When our neighbor's cow comes out and goes in our yard, our chickens love it because there's cow pies everywhere and they scatter through it. So they're going to scatter through that. Then you leave them there for a few days. Then you move them out and you keep following them. Then you bring in pigs. The pigs kind of burrow up the ground. They scatter all the chicken stuff and they're kind of tilling the soil. And then after that, then you grow plants on there and you just keep moving everybody around. And so you can have a lot more on that piece because that's what results in having nutrient-dense soil.
Right, because it makes sense, right? Because you have a lot of different animals that eat different things and they're pooping and they're tilling and they're doing all of this work.
John said you have to have a disclaimer because some people are triggered by anything remotely political. Yeah,
True.
I know. Sean said, are you doing a Veterans Day broadcast this year? We are not because of Hack Your Health and the other stuff, but I am trying to put together like a video kind of thing.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're going to bring it back next year. It's just right now with everything going on with the house, like this turned out to be a crazy 2 weeks. So we're up here in Orlando. We are going to be babysitting our grandbabies starting tomorrow until Sunday. We have the
Central Florida
Keto meetup on Saturday. Then next week is Hack Your Health.
Yeah, Donna Jo is coming to visit.
And then we're going to be with Chris and Miriam for a couple days after Hack Your Health.
There's just a lot going on.
Then we have a week and a half after that is our 2KK getaway cruise.
Yeah.
And in the midst of all that, one of these days we'll actually live in our house. Like I actually spent the last 2 days tiling the floor in the bathroom.
Right. So we're getting closer.
Yeah. Troy said, if you try it, let us know what you think and how you feel afterwards. I don't know what we're talking about. FMP Feel Good said, it's like when people share meat deals online and they say, I got 10 steaks for $15, but the steaks were like 4 ounces.
Right.
Yeah.
True.
Healthy Mama said, we're getting a Buc-ee's down the street and our new Trader Joe's opens tomorrow. Trish said we are in clean out the fridge mode before we start traveling this Sunday. I'm pretty much out of cooking ingredients. We'll have to dine out.
But that is so smart. You know that you have saved so much money by eating out of your own freezer. And what a great thing. I can't tell you how many times we've had like the holidays come, like Thanksgiving, and you want to have so much room in your refrigerator and your freezer for like the food that you're cooking. I mean, when you all of a sudden have to make room for a giant turkey, like it can get a little bit frustrating, right? So if you are making room up until the time of Thanksgiving, it really does save money and it just takes a lot of pressure off of you.
Yeah. Dogs Gang. Another thing to be aware of are fillers, such as dextrose in powdered products like packets of sugar, substitutes like Splenda equal baked goods, beverages, seasonings, dehydrated soup, etc. Yeah, so like for example, Splenda and stevia, powdered versions are generally a no-no. Understand, Splenda is just a brand. Okay, it is not a sweetener. It is a brand that makes a sweetener. The sweetener in Splenda is sucralose. Sucralose is 600 times sweeter than sugar. So you can't even really measure it out. Okay, so like we use liquid sucralose sometimes for our coffees and baking
like
and things
drop.
like that. And so it is powdered, pure powdered sucralose, pure in the pure form that has been diluted in water, where it is 25% sucralose and 75% water. And even with that, one drop is equal to the sweetness of 2 teaspoons of sugar.
Right.
So when they make Splenda packets, the little yellow packets, they're taking just a touch of that sucralose, and then you can't measure it out. So they have to bind it with something or make a filler so that you could measure it out. Because Splenda's whole deal was it was a cup for cup measurement.
For
if you remember
baking.
when it came out. So that filler is dextrose and maltodextrin, which is worse than sugar. Now the thing is they're slower on the glycemic index and they're slower for raising blood sugars. That's why they can call it a good product for diabetes,
Semantics.
but they're not good products. Same thing with stevia. The only time that you're going to find a good one is when they're binding it to erythritol, but then you're having another whole issue.
Cooling effect. And
I will tell you this, that when we first started keto, so we live in Florida. Florida has something called palmetto bugs. They're basically cockroaches. Palmetto bugs, they're pretty hard to get rid of. And it's not even a dirty thing. It's just something you deal with.
just pervasive.
They love things like cardboard, but we used to always get them in our cabinets and we could not figure out why, and you just could not get rid of them. Well, we were those crazy coupon people, like the people you saw on television years ago. And so we would get those packets of McCormick seasonings and taco seasonings and sloppy Joe mix all the time. Turns out they were literally digging through and eating those. When we went keto and carnivore,
Got rid of those
and
packs.
threw all that stuff out, our roach problem went away. We never had palmetto bugs again in the house.
It's crazy. And
Except for in the garage, and that was again because we had a lot of cardboard
well,
in
and
the
you
garage.
think, and now we live in a farm.
We don't have any.
And we don't have
I
any.
haven't even seen one.
We don't have any. And so again, so they love that. They especially love so if you're struggling, you're like, okay, but that's the one thing I still keep is like some sort of a gravy mix or like the taco mix, and you're still struggling. That's what it is. They're like there's sugar in there.
John said, my question is, what will happen when someone who isn't on GLP-1s eats a GLP-1 canceling food? I don't understand the question.
I don't
What will
understand.
happen when someone who isn't on a GLP-1 eats a GLP-1 canceling food? You mean like a food that can help create a GLP-1? Like allulose or something like that? I need you to kind of expand upon the question. Rachel had a great art thing that we put up on Substack about GLP-1s and that they're here. And again, I've said all along, I think they're a miracle drug. I worry about people abusing them. I worry about the fact that people aren't under medical supervision anymore. And don't tell me that these online pharmacy companies that are sending you like, versions where they're putting vitamin B1 and stuff like that in it, you're under it. No, you're not, because you don't even have to answer it. Like most of them, they sell it to you. They tell you you're supposed to check in and you don't have to check in, and they still keep sending it to you. Like and you can lie. You can literally lie. You can tell them you're 300 pounds but only weigh 180 pounds and they'll give you the medicine. Because most of them don't even require Zoom calls or anything like that. So it concerns me about that. But I think that they can be a really good help when used appropriately and you're doing it the right way. The problem is that so many people now have switched them. They're like, well, my eating doesn't matter. And in the end, your eating does matter.
Right. So if you are like, hey, the food noise is now, the volume is turned way down, use this time. This is the blessing that you've been praying for, right? That you're like, man, I wish that my cravings weren't always driving me crazy. If your cravings aren't driving you crazy anymore, then really, truly eat what you know to be real food and avoid the overly processed garbage. Like this is the time that keto and ketovore and carnivore and low carb, like all can really be a lot easier because of food noise.
Okay, so I scroll backwards a little bit because this jumps when you get too far behind. So John said that supposedly the food companies are now researching how to override the effects of a GLP-1. That would make sense. What are they going to do? They're going to increase the bliss effect.
Oh,
so if
such a douche move.
If you don't know what the bliss effect is, that literally these companies spend millions and billions of dollars to find the bliss effect, which is the point where you can't stop eating that product. Lay's potato chips or Pringles potato chips, right? You can't stop at just one. So like that was the whole thing with Coke and Pepsi. It's like, so find that point. Starbucks has done it. Find the point where this product becomes so addictive you can't stop eating it. So what they're going to do is they're going to begin researching, like, how do we overcome this cancellation of food noise, make it more hyper palatable? And that's like the problem. Like, so I watched a video.
So really what you're saying though is honestly the only way that you could,
there's going to have to be some willpower.
I was going to say
no drug is going to be able to overcome willpower.
But what I'm saying is you would have, like, if you want to fight that, because that really is a douche move by them, to fight that, you would have to say, I'm definitely taking myself out of the ultra processed food game. That, like, I am eating whole ingredients. Because then you can't be manipulated.
The whole idea of the GLP-1 is it eliminates the food noise, because in the end, like, you just having a hard time saying no. So the GLP-1 can help to eliminate that food noise. So just to say, if you're easily able to just say, I only eat whole foods, you shouldn't even need the GLP-1 anyway, because you don't have the food noise, because your willpower's there. But,
I see what you're saying.
I mean, it's just like gastric bypass. It makes your stomach shrink, but how do people just eat past that? Because your willpower gets so low that you have that desire, and that's what the GLP-1 is supposed to help with. It just comes down to somewhere you're going to end up having to. And I would not I wouldn't put it past them to do that, to really come up ways to get past this, because it's affecting them.
Well, it's affecting their wallet.
Right. Dustin said Trader Joe's is disappointing. I have to drive across town and I stopped going. We're getting Whole Foods closer to us, but they're so high priced. Trader Joe's was great when I was in keto.
Yeah, they didn't have as many things once we went keto. Then I really leaned on the brother store, which is Aldi. So, you know, Aldi and Trader Joe's, our brother started them. And so, you know, one went the Aldi route of, like, it's going to be all about being cheap and keeping things not a lot of variety. And then the Trader Joe's route was like, we're going to make everything super interesting. Like, you're going to have the most amazing dips and, like, variety of things that are just super cool. Also, like, a really fun shopping experience because everybody's super nice there and the music's great. And, like, it's just the atmosphere is, like, really fun. And Aldi's is super, like, we're not even trying. Like, we make Save-A-Lot look like they're really, you know, making an entertaining experience.
Bride's Biscuit said, regarding corporations, incentive is totally employed not to achieve substantial change, but to absorb and diffuse revolutionary pressure back into a control system to maintain the status quo. Yeah.
What a articulate point you just got across. There's at least 4 spelling words in that.
John said, for McDonald's, beef tallow doesn't make a big difference for us because since their fried food is all high carb. Yes, I would agree. It doesn't necessarily apply to us. However, as I've said from day one, when it comes to seed oils, this is not a keto thing. This is a health issue.
Everybody thinks.
And no one should be consuming seed oils. They're just bad for you. They cause inflammation. They go rancid in your body. And so if someone's going to eat McDonald's French fries, I'd much rather see them frying it in beef tallow.
Yeah.
I mean, again, even RFK said he would go back to eating McDonald's French fries if they went back to 3 ingredients: beef tallow, potatoes, and salt. Because he loves their fries, but he's like, I won't consume them because of the seed oils.
Seed oils.
Let's see. I saw something else, but it keeps skipping. And that said, finally, Rachel let her inner Gen X out. Such a
That's
douche
such
move.
a douche move. It really is.
Oh, Chris, put up your Substack.
Oh, thanks so much.
Okay, so Juliana said, question. John said food makers are researching how to outsmart GLP-1s. He's asking how the non-medicated consuming those bioengineered food, you're going to become more addicted to it. So if you're not on a GLP-1 and you consume these foods that they're going to make even more hyper palatable, you're going to become more addicted to it.
And here's the thing, it's like everybody gets involved because again, you've got product placement on your favorite shows and movies because they've got to have money advertising in order for them to make it, right? Especially like you're watching a movie on like a streaming service that's relatively cheap. Well, you're expected to like watch these amazing shows. Well, somebody's got to pay the bills for that, right? So a lot of times they use product placement. And so you've got product placement in movies and in your entertainment that's like telling you, hey, this is super cool. I mean, in fact, the other day, Michelle had said that she was so like thankful that there was a company that was selling Disney princesses were on cheese sticks. And she's like, finally, because Peyton is about to turn 3 years old. She's super vulnerable to like her favorite things that she sees, right? And like she loves Disney princesses. And so all of the cartoons you watch, they're on inflammatory food, but like the kids are tugging at the parents because I see this character that I really like. And she's like, finally, she tugs on me and I don't have to tell her no because we could eat a cheese stick.
And that's the thing is that we are so easily influenced, especially kids. I mean, that's why these corporations they will literally pay Disney millions of dollars to put a Disney image on their product. I will never forget that, when my kids were little and in diapers and you buy the diapers that have the Disney characters on them. Like right. I was too cheap. I bought the diapers that had Sesame Street.
When they weren't cool at that point.
I don't even remember what brand it was.
They had like a resurgence of coolness lately.
It was like the Walmart brand or something like that.
I don't even think Caleb's diapers had a character on it. It was like a young man going to school.
The cheapest thing possible.
It was like a school bus on his.
So Dustin said, I wish GLP-1s would just get people to whole food, single ingredient way of eating and then work your way off of the medication, but that's not how they're doing it. That is the proper way to do it. Like you should be, and now I will say that like I have done a lot of research and investigation and they do go through like if you answer their questions and their questions will be like, are you willing to change your diet? Like they tell you that you're supposed to be focusing on protein.
But they can't enforce that.
But they can't enforce it. And now what I'm seeing is people, they've been on it for a little while. They're not getting the results that they want and they're worried about gaining the weight back. So now they're doing it multiple times. They're going to multiple companies, so you can pick your choice. There's hundreds of these companies out there. They're getting every company to send them the stuff, and then they're doing shots every day, every other day, 3 times a week, because they've got to offset it. Because the whole idea of these GLP-1s is your body gets used to it, so then you up the dosage, then you up the dosage, then you up the dosage. And so now people are doing multiple of them, and that is my concern. That's why I really like to see people with a doctor,
just go to a doctor
telling you, like, and yes, it's an expensive medication, but even if you're doing the compounded version have another doctor helping you, where they can help you, like educate you on the foods that you need to eat.
I actually think that there's a thing presently. There was like a press conference this morning that was talking about how they're trying to. The main players like Mounjaro and Wegovy are trying to bring down the prices, like they're, and they need some pressure on them to bring down the prices. So because that if you do not bring down the price of this stuff, then people are going to go get it online. So the only way to keep people from basically putting their health in jeopardy, because you don't know totally what you're doing, and you are, even when someone is like low dosing, but I'm playing pharmacist, even as I'm titrating up or down, right?
I think telehealth is a great thing, but I also think that it's maybe going too far. I mean, you can get Viagra, you can get anything. Just answer a couple questions. A lot of them, you don't even need to do any kind of blood work. Marie said my son-in-law is on a GLP-1 and thinks it's a free ticket to continue to eat crappy food.
So if they would just like, because and again, I totally get it. It can be super helpful.
Wait, I gotta say this is not a knock on GLP-1
at all.
It's a concern.
Yeah. Well,
and that's why our focus has now become, as Rachel Substack talked about, it's not against GLP-1s, it's educating how to use them appropriately.
Well, and just like trying to encourage people like and celebrate them. But again, if people think like they're here to stay, so don't waste your breath trying to be like, okay, at some point we're going to get rid of it. Like the cat's out of the bag. Like this is, prohibition has come, it's too late. It's out. And so it's our challenge as a community is to rally around somebody that's utilizing a GLP-1 and let them know, like, how can I help you, like, eat food that is going to be nutrient dense and support you in your goals, that you could both be healthy and lose weight.
Right.
Because I am living proof that you could get to a point where you're like, okay, whether it's willpower or something else is helping you, a tool is helping you to not eat as much food. Just because I was eating only 500 calories a day for 2 solid years, like that didn't mean that I was healthier because I had a stint of skinnier. I was very malnourished, right?
Okay, Dogs Gang said, I'm concerned about what happens when someone stops taking a GLP-1. Will they gain the weight back quickly? I worry if someone can no longer afford it or their doctor quits prescribing it. Yes, they'll most likely gain the weight back, especially if they don't change their eating lifestyle. The biggest problem, and this is why it is recommended to make sure you're doing a lot of strength training and eating a lot of protein, is that you eliminate the food noise. You don't eat as much. It slows down your digestion, so you're not eating as much. You feel fuller longer, and so you end up not eating as much. What ends up happening is you're losing fat, but you're also losing muscle. So now you've lost muscle. Some people up to 50% of their muscle. The problem is your muscle is your metabolism. So when you don't want to lose any muscle, which is why you need to be eating protein and lifting weights. You have to be doing that if you're on a GLP-1 just to be able to try to maintain your muscle. You go off of it, you've lost a bunch of your muscle, and so now your metabolism is slower. So you're going to gain weight, you're going to gain it back quickly, you're going to gain back more than you lost. Here's the real concern, and again, we are not doctors or nurses or health professionals, but GLP-1s have not been approved for weight loss that long. We don't know the long-term effects of what happens when you're not supposed to be on it lifetime. I mean, for weight loss, that's always been said that. But now what happens when you go off of it? You're probably going to gain back the weight, especially if you don't change your eating lifestyle. Just like if you go off of keto and go back to your old lifestyle, you're going to gain all your weight back. And you're going to go back to your diabetes and all that stuff. But here's the question is, at some point do you plateau where the GLP-1 no longer is working and you've gotten beyond the maximum dose? Like you can't do any more.
You did it slow.
So now your body is, we know that you have to keep increasing, but at some point you can't increase anymore. So now what happens? So now are you just dumping $200, $300, $400 and that's on the compounded version every month and it's not doing anything? Now where do we go? Now you're into your situation of, and again, this is my prediction, that people who stay on this for a year will begin to gain weight back because they can't increase the dose unless they start skating around the rules and just dosing themselves every day. But Rachel literally ate 500 to 700 calories a day for 2 years.
And it worked until it didn't.
And then all of a sudden that stopped, and then she gained 70 pounds.
And that's heartbreaking because you really do think, and again,
eating the same thing.
And again, that's why I go back to like what we'll be talking about tomorrow, which is, don't think that I'm going to find something that once I start employing this thing, it's never going to change. Like this will be the last thing that I ever have to do. This will be the last pivot I ever have to make, because as long as you live, there's going to be ebbs and flows to life, different seasons, different hormones, things. You solve one problem and it feels like a whack-a-mole, another issue arises. That's why they call, that's the struggle of life. because life is a struggle. And we need to begin celebrating the fact that we're still in the struggle.
Right.
You know?
Okay, we can get off of this. I will say, John said GLP-1s is about to replace with a new cheaper med with a different mechanism. Listen, pharmaceuticals for weight loss is big business. Remember Fen-Phen? I mean, you had them all. This is just the
Speed.
Newest one.
My mom.
Yeah, back in the 60s and 70s, they literally gave
Prescribed.
you amphetamines. And so, like, it's just the next one in the phase. And let's think about it this way. You have all these online pharmacies that are selling it, and how they're making a fortune.
What we need to do as a community is make sure that people know that they're loved, that they're cared about, that no matter what they are doing in their search for better health, if they're employing something like this, that they don't have to be ashamed of it. That it doesn't mean that they're like less keto or less carnivore or whatever. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me that somebody comes and sits down, just like when we go on a 2KK cruise, if someone sits next to me and they're eating a bowl of pasta, like with bread on top of it, I don't care.
Right.
Because this is their life, and I love them, and I'm so thankful for the access to their friendship, and I just want you to know you're not alone, right?
Trish said, Trader Joe's full-fat cottage cheese tastes amazing, very mild and rich.
Ooh.
Yes, it is very good. They have their own version of Fairlife milk. So they do have
we
that.
don't have a Trader Joe's anywhere near us now. Is there one in Port Charlotte?
There might be one in Port Charlotte. I don't remember. It's something I looked up. I don't know if it was. I think we have a Trader Joe's. What we didn't have, I was looking for Sprouts. Beth said my hairdresser or ex tells her diabetic 10-year-old she can have the candy bar she is crying for, but then she has to get a second insulin shot.
Oh,
that's the problem. That's, and again,
that's
when I grew up, if you got diabetes, it meant you're never having sugar, and then the drug companies come out with metformin and pills and go, now you can have the sugar, just pop a pill or take another shot. And here's the thing. So again, not to be too political, but I saw a poll on Facebook. I don't know why all this. I've also gotten into arguing with vegans lately, but
please don't. Why are you doing that?
But this one said, it was a poll of don't worry, I did not answer. Should people who are receiving SNAP benefits, food stamps, anything like that, should they be allowed to buy junk food, candy, potato chips, or should it be only for actual sustainable food? Regardless of what you think, here's why I found this interesting. When I read through the comments, a lot of them were yes. No, they should be able to buy all of this stuff.
Wait, junk food.
Junk food.
Okay.
And the two biggest reasons, and there was like 3,000 comments, and I read almost every one of them. The two biggest reasons that people felt that you should be allowed to use food stamps and stuff for junk food is A, kids deserve to be able to have junk food.
Like that's childhood?
Here's the other one, and this one actually had more people saying this. Yes, because diabetics need to be able to have candy available to them if they have a low sugar moment.
Wow.
That was people's reasoning for saying that you should, and again, I'm not saying one way or another what I think.
But I would think that the answer would be more like a personal independence thing, like it's my choice to do.
Literally,
but it wasn't.
I would say
childhood.
30% of the
and
comments,
I need it for
30% of them were diabetics need to have access to candy for when they have incidents.
Wow, that's fascinating. That's fascinating.
How about the fact that diabetes could be reversed if you don't eat that stuff?
Wow. Well, I was just, going back to Beth's, thing, when it's like, this is the cycle of like, I really want that thing. Okay, you can have it. You just need to add, increase your dose of insulin, but that's at 10. And I'm going to hope and pray that child that's 10 years old right now lives to be 100. What is that going to look like? Like, how is that trajectory going to look?
Right.
Like, how are we going to get that kid to 100 if this is the way we're handling it?
John said arguing with vegans is fun.
Not really.
Asked Dr. Barry. He said if we weren't supposed to eat meat, God wouldn't have made them out of meat.
Right.
Juliana said, I do struggle with that one. No, it's not a necessity, but every child deserves a birthday cake. But no, from a sensible, for making sure kids are fed with salt. And I understand. I see both sides of it, but I
you
could
have
also
one birthday
say
a year.
it's not like generally that is all of your money for food. It's supposed to be a supplement, and you could use your own paychecks and stuff for the junk food. But this way, you're making sure. I see both sides, but the diabetes thing is just what got me. To say that we should be allowed to buy candy because diabetics need it. That's what really got to me.
I've talked to a lot of moms who you think the Facebook groups for like, carnivore can be toxic? Try a mom group. Like they could be really challenging. And what you're doing, like for kids outings, like what's the baseball mom, if you're the snack person, what you're supposed to bring, like, it gets crazy. What are we going to do at the holidays if you're part of some sort of organization? What's like the class party going to look like? Like there's just so much needless pressure.
Right.
That to really sugar up all the kids because this is what we want them to remember about childhood. I think that is a lie of marketing. If I'm a food company that wants you to get hooked forever, I'm going to make sure that you think that all childhood memories are linked to the food that's on the plate and not the people around the table. The truth is, what makes a childhood amazing is the people that are in the child's life. That's what makes it amazing. So the next time that you're having a kid over, like, grandkid, nephew, niece, whatever, like it's you that makes it special. It's that Uno game around the dining room table. It doesn't even matter what you guys are eating. It is what you're talking about. It's, taking a kid fishing or, going to a fun park or zoo or something. Like it has really so little to do with the food and so much to do with you. But I think that because we don't see how precious that we don't see ourselves as worthy. We really feel like we need to outsource the fun and meaning to food. You are what makes it special. You are amazing. You just don't realize how amazing you are.
Yeah. And yes, Juliana said type 2 can be cured, type 1 cannot. Yes, that's absolutely true. But a lot of people were in the comments were talking about type 2. But it's, again, I think that is just a nonsense reason. They're just justifying why they need to have candy because, again, if you're a type 1, you generally have medication. And as you said earlier, like, you don't even need the candy because you can get glucagon gels. So.
Edward is talking about the new slushy machine ice cream recipe. When is that going to be coming out?
As soon as I edit it.
It has been taped.
It's been taped. Maybe I'll try to edit it this weekend in my spare time. We actually have some here in the freezer because we're going to have our grandbaby.
Yeah.
So I had a batch that I made today, and I put it in containers in like little quart containers, and then it's now scoopable because you can eat it whenever. Edward said, money for the new slushy machine recommended?
Question for the new slushy machine. Yeah. Like the recipe is what you said.
Oh, okay.
T. Lewis said giving children sugar, even birthday cake, could assure that once they are adults, they will need sugar when their blood drops low from having exogenous insulin that lowers it.
Yeah.
Because it's too much.
I thought it was interesting, like even last week, where we literally watched Peyton, who rarely has sugar, try sugar and be like, oh, no. Like, I don't feel good now.
I should probably post, but I won't because her face is hilarious because they have a birthday cake and it's like a double birthday party because it's like the parents were like, hey, both our kids have a birthday in November. Let's just have a birthday together because we're going to invite all the same parent friends. Let's just, half the cost of it. And so Peyton has the birthday cake and she blows out the candle and she's just sitting there staring at the cake. Like she thinks that the cake is there for the birthday candle. Like you have to have something for the birthday candle to stick into. Then you blow out the birthday candle and then you are done with it. And so she's just looking there and she's looking at the other little girl and she's looking at everybody and like, I'm done with this cake. Like, what's next? You sang happy birthday. I blew out the candle.
She didn't actually blow out the candle.
Done. Did you help? Oh.
It's kind of cool. I got to help my granddaughter blow out her candle. Okay, we're going to get off, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, we definitely have a recipe video that should come out this weekend. I don't know which one. Whichever one's easier to edit. I'll tell you that.
The quickest?
I'll give you that one. We will be back live on Monday for Keto Beyond the Couch.
10 a.m.
Bye, guys.
Love you.